We are just about 1 month away from the Nationals selecting first overall in this year's draft. And by the way, over the last few years, there has not been a more confusing top of the board for the Washington Nationals. So let's break it down.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. Later on in the show today, we will have a Nats-Mets series preview with Mackenzie Gore on the bump in today's start at Citi Field. Beautiful weather up in New York, so we'll have that series preview for you later on, as it's a Mackenzie Gore day. Second segment, we're just going to be continuing to break down some of the top prospects in this year's draft. As you guys know, the Nationals hold the number one overall pick, the first time they have done so since the 2010 MLB Draft, where they selected Bryce Harper. The year prior to that, they also held the number one overall pick, and they selected Steven Strasburg. Two generational type prospects. This time around, it's not going to be that easy. I can tell you that much, because this class, well, it's loaded. So let's give you the 5 best fits for the Washington Nationals. And all 5 of these guys, by the way, they've got a legit shot at going number one overall. We'll have that discussion for you. But today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. And take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So in today's program, we're going to be breaking down the Nationals big board for what they should do and what they could do at number one overall. Now, before we get into these prospects, I just want to say this and kind of put it out there on the record first. This might be one of the worst years to have the number one overall pick. It just might be. The Washington Nationals, in years past, again, we went over it. When they had the first pick, it was an easy no-brainer. You had Steven Strasburg, a generational pitcher prospect, and then you had Bryce Harper, the kid who at 16 years old was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Those were easy picks. You and I could have made those selections. But now, this is when Mike Rizzo could have kind of separated himself, because there are legit 5 guys that the Nationals could go over. And these 5 guys are very different. They come from college. They come from high school. There are pitchers and there are position players. There's a lot of different things that the Nationals could do. But just to kind of preface it with this, these are my 5 guys that, number one, I'd be fine with any of these 5 at this point. And number 2, in this order, I think this is how the Nationals should go. So let's stop talking about it, and let's just jump right into it. My number 1 guy for the Washington Nationals, the guy that I would be thrilled if they ended up with, is a left-handed pitcher, Liam Doyle, out of the University of Tennessee. Now, if we kind of have a conversation around Liam Doyle, is he far and away the best talent in this draft? I don't believe so. Is he the safest pick in this draft? I don't believe so. But the upside of what Liam Doyle brings is exactly what this Washington Nationals team needs. I fell in love with Liam Doyle a few months back, watching University of Tennessee, I believe, take on the University of Florida. And Liam Doyle was out there just kind of strutting around the mound like Max Scherzer. You see him talking, you know what, to the opposing team, the way that Tariq Skubal does. And he had a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. From the left side of the plate, or left side of the mound, rather, that is when I knew this is going to be my guy. That is when I knew that this southpaw, who can pump 98, 99 miles per hour, who strikes out batters nearly 14 Ks per 9 this past season, this was going to be the guy. Now, I believe the Nationals will end up with Liam Doyle. That at least is what I think right now. You could go back to a super regional performance this past weekend where he was tattooed, and the Tennessee Volunteers, they lost, unfortunately. But this guy, in my opinion, provides the biggest upside. He has got the best pitch in college baseball right now, and in my opinion, in this draft. It's either really between him and Seth Hernandez. But Liam Doyle's fastball and the usage of it so far this season has been electric. And a lot of people might say, well, the way that he utilizes it and the rate that he used it, he nearly used it almost 50% of the time. But he also generated a ton of swings and misses from it. You know who also has done that throughout their career and has made a career of it? Jacob deGrom. You know who's doing that now with the Pittsburgh Pirates? Paul Skeens. I'm not saying he's going to be on the trajectory of those guys here, but I think the people who say, well, he uses his fastball too much. Is it that good of a pitch? Well, Jacob deGrom, a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion, one of the better pitchers I've ever seen. He uses it a lot. And Paul Skeens, he uses it also. And it's pretty effective. And oh, by the way, just to kind of put things in perspective for the Washington Nationals, this has never been a draft and develop organization. It just has not been. Mike Rizzo has always taken big swings, whether you like it or whether you hate it. Liam Doyle fits his kind of method of what he does develop well. What have the Nationals done well over the years? They have developed left-handed pitching. You got to stay in your strong suit. In my opinion, Liam Doyle fits that metric right now. If you look over at MLB.com and the way that they project this thing to go, they have Liam Doyle as the number 9 prospect. I think that's doable, like that is debatable, but I believe that Liam Doyle is at least a top 3 ceiling in this draft. He has Cy Young potential written all over him. He has electric ability, and also, I think he's going to be a fast riser through the big leagues, and by the way, he just turned 21 years old, literally last week. If I'm the Washington Nationals, I'm taking this high ceiling right now. Now, with that in mind, the downsides is that he does have a little bit of a lower floor than other college pitchers in this draft, like a Jamie Arnold, who we'll be talking about later on in the show. But if I'm the Nationals, you get one shot at this. You're picking number 1 overall. You got to have to take a big swing here. And also, you have to take kind of a safe big swing because the Nationals, they have taken big swings in the past and has blown up in their face, whether it be Elijah Green, whether it be years ago with Mason Denneberg. The names are out there, and we all understand that. But this might be one of the safer / highest ceiling picks in this draft. And in my opinion, if I'm Mike Rizzo, I'm passing on the other guys out there that we're going to get into here shortly for Liam Doyle. I saw what I needed to see. He is an electric pitcher out there. He's not afraid to strut around. He's got the confidence that you would want to see from an ace. In this organization, they develop left-handed pitching. Mitchell Parker, DJ Hers, Mackenzie Gore has taken some steps up over this past season. Things happen with lefties in this org. So I'd like to see Liam Doyle come in here and be a fast riser and be in this rotation sometime next summer. And he certainly has the capability to do just that because the Nationals, they need some juice. He's got it. This guy might be one of the most electric pitchers in all of baseball when it's all said and done. So that's my number 1 guy in this draft. My number 2 guy, you know the name, Ethan Holiday. And if you look back when the Nationals won this lottery, I said, Ethan Holiday, no matter what. There's some downsides there. Let's talk about some of the downsides with Ethan Holiday after we tell you guys about some of our very good friends over at Supply House and, of course, We've told you all about Supply House, and you can get the supplies that you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. The other day, I literally noticed my AC was leaking. I didn't know what to do, so I went on supplyhouse.com. They helped me go step by step through this process to figure out the next fix and what supplies that I need to fix this AC. And of course, a dummy like me, I don't know what to do. Well, step-by-step instructions led me to fixing it myself as if I was my own maintenance guy. I want that for you guys as well. And of course, if you're the skilled professionals already taking advantage, it's your turn. It's just your normal Peter Parker, just like myself. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That is supplyhouse.com. Now we jump back into it with Ethan Holiday, my number 2 on this Nats draft big board. Ethan Holiday was the consensus number 1 pick back in the winter. But things have kind of come up. But before we kind of jump into the negative of it, let's get into some positive, because the Nationals could easily select Ethan Holiday number 1 overall. Ethan Holiday, if the Nationals were to select him number 1, he would bring elite power. At 18 years old, he's got a 65 power grade already. He's at shortstop, solid defender, but he'll probably end up at third base or second base or maybe even a corner outfield spot when it's all said and done. But one thing that we just are not sure of are his high school numbers up to this point. And that's what kind of leads to the concerns of Ethan Holiday. Now, some scouts may think that this is no big deal, but I think it is. Because if you want your guy to be out there and out public, and I'm sure he's going to be first team All-State in Oklahoma, I'm sure he's going to get all the accolades. He's a great ball player. He's going to go in the first round, and he'll have a great major league career. But there are some concerns with him regarding swing and miss. For where the Nationals are, again, we need to hit on this pick. You cannot fall flat in your face if you're trying to take a big swing here. And Ethan Holiday may be a little bit on the safer side of things, but also there are some real concerns with swing and miss here. He has a 50 grade hit tool, and what we were kind of getting into is his numbers are not public from this season at this point. For high school players, it's a little odd. It's a little odd for players to try to not hide their numbers, but to simply find them. And with that in mind, I think obviously scouts will be able to get a hold of it, whether it be from opposing teams, whether it be from Ethan Holiday, or even his father, Matt Holiday. You have opportunities to do that. But with where the Nationals are, do you want to take that big swing at this point? Because Holiday's a great player. He's an awesome talent. But is he best for the Washington Nationals? Can the Nationals develop him? That's the point where I kind of get in my head and I'm like, you know what? While he might be a great all-time kind of player, we don't know if the Nationals can kind of tap into those tools here. Because you've taken a guy similar out of high school with Elijah Green with a huge ceiling, massive power coming out of high school. And his numbers were public, by the way. We knew that he struck out in nearly 20% of his at-bats at IMG Academy. But is Holiday worth that selection? And is he worth it passing on some of these college arms that could help you eventually over the next year or two? We don't know. I think that's why, for me, Holiday has kind of slipped out of that number 1 spot. He's a great talent. He has a lot to add to this Nationals team. But I don't know if he is the guy for this organization and where we are now. Liam Doyle is. But Ethan Holiday, he's going to end up with one of the top organizations, and he could be a great player for years to come. And again, if the Nationals were to pick Ethan Holiday, no problem. Let's develop him. That's going to be my main concern moving forward. My number 3 guy, Florida State left-handed pitcher, in a lot of people's case, the number one guy in this draft, Jamie Arnold. Jamie Arnold right now, according to MLB.com, he is the number 4 prospect. And again, if you look at Keith Law's rankings, he's kind of all over the map. But although I think the consensus is that he will be a top 5 pick, then that's where the Nationals could end up with him at number 1 overall. You could even make a case that the Nationals end up with Jamie Arnold, even over my guy, Liam Doyle. But Jamie Arnold, right now for the Nationals, this is your safe pick. This is your security blanket. If Mike Rizzo and Danny Haas and Brad Ciolek were going into this draft saying, we need to hit this pick no matter what, you end up with Jamie Arnold. And what he does, he's got like a mid-90s, upper 90s fastball. It really doesn't play all too well, but he's got a really good slider. He's got a solid changeup, and he can control his pitches overall, and he had a ton of strikeouts over the past year. Jamie Arnold is a safe pick, but he does not scream number 1 overall pick to me because of the ceiling. Again, I try to have this balance where you want to take your big swing at number 1 overall, but also you want to be able to hit that pick. And you also kind of want to get a more talented guy there at number 1 who has at least the potential to be a very good big leaguer. Jamie Arnold does have the potential to be a very good big league pitcher here. But I don't think he has the ceiling of a Liam Doyle. And if you can compare, like, well, what's the risk here? What are you risking with Jamie Arnold? Not much. You're going to get a good major league pitcher here. But is it worth taking a number 2 or a number 3 starter on this team right now when you have the ability to get the number 1 with Liam Doyle, or you have the ability to take a potential star shortstop or middle infielder with Jackson Holiday? These are the things that we have to, or Ethan Holiday rather, not Jackson Holiday. Jeez. These are the things that the Nationals are going to have to think about with that number 1 overall pick here. And Jamie Arnold, in my opinion, he just does not have the stuff to go number 1 overall. And that might sound silly to a lot of people because he's been a very good pitcher all season long. He has been the Florida State ace for them all season long. I think if one of the 3 lefties were to go number 1 overall, it's going to be Liam Doyle. But this guy, Jamie Arnold, does have the potential to go number 1. And he has been on scouts' radars for years now. I don't think he's going to be falling outside the top 5 because I look at a team like the St. Louis Cardinals, they'll jump all over Jamie Arnold at number 5 right there. But with where we are as this organization, that safe floor that he provides, which will be a good major league pitcher, I don't know if it's worth it to take the number 1 spot because that ceiling just is not there. And that part is a little kind of concerning to me with that number 1 overall pick. Number 4, this has been the guy that has risen all season long for the Washington Nationals and just in general in Major League Baseball. And in fact, he has jumped Jamie Arnold, another college left-handed pitcher who actually has been mocked as of recent over the last few days to the Washington Nationals. Left-handed pitcher Cade Anderson. This guy is from LSU, and again, he's not getting the Paul Skeens comps. He's a left-handed pitcher who has got a 4-pitch mix. He's got really good control, great command. He's 20 years old, about to turn 21 next month. And Cade Anderson has kind of been your Paul Skeens kind of riser. Same with Liam Doyle, by the way. But this guy has really come in as of late, and especially what he did in the Super Regionals this past weekend. Cade Anderson would be a really interesting pick, in my opinion. But the reason why I have him at number 4 for the Washington Nationals right now is because I don't know what he provides. I did not really get to watch Cade Anderson all too much this season. But one thing that I really read up about him and kind of the thing that gets me a little excited, if it was Cade Anderson, was that if the Nationals do go this route, you're going to get a very premier pitcher with 4 pitches that can all spin really well and also generate a ton of swings and misses. He does kind of have that number 1 overall pick aura around him. And coming out of LSU, the Nationals, they know what you're going to get from LSU guys. They love the makeup of Dylan Cruz. They love the makeup of Paul Skeens back in the day. And now you have Cade Anderson in this mix also. And the Nationals, they're not afraid to take guys from LSU. We know that at this point. In fact, they love it. Andrew Stevenson back in the day when he was a second-round pick for the Nationals. And then you had Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens, whichever one they ended up with, they'd have been thrilled because of the makeup that those guys have coming from that college team. Cade Anderson fixed that mix also. But kind of similar to Jamie Arnold, what is the upside that he has? Because Cade Anderson, in my opinion, there's no pitches that really kind of separate him. The reason why I ended up with Liam Doyle as my number one guy was because he has that fastball that separates him. In Cade Anderson's place here, I think it's his elite command and also his age. He's 20. He's about to be 21 right before he gets drafted inside the top 10. And he'll probably have top 5 pick also worthy there. But this is also someone who is recovering from Tommy John and not recovering, but he had Tommy John surgery back in 2022, I believe, right before his freshman season at LSU. And I mean, that's a little concerning overall, but also some people might say, well, he's already gotten that surgery out of the way and he's just getting stronger and he's still getting older. He's still growing into his body. He's just 20. That's kind of the upside that Cade Anderson would bring. So those 4 guys, no problem if the Nationals end up with them. But there is one other guy out there that I think the Nationals could potentially get. Am I really hoping for it? Not necessarily. But I think this guy's a really good talent. And I think he is in play for the number 1 overall pick, especially for where the Nationals are. I'll give you that name after we tell you guys about some of our very good friends over at Monarch Money. And of course, I have told you guys all about Monarch Money. And I want to tell you guys why you ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out and online shopping and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center that you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. You stop just managing your money and start building wealth. And when I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on delivery and takeout. And for instance, today, I was actually going to Uber Eats a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel for my favorite bagel spot. And I was like, you know what? Let me follow my goals that Monarch Money set for me. And of course, they check my finances. They track my spending and even plan some long-term goals that help me prevent from doing that just today. And with you, managing money is hard. I get that. That's why Monarch Money, they can take control of your finances. So of course, take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. We jump back into it here with the number 5 player on the Nationals big board. And let's just go through it right now real quick. Number 1 is Liam Doyle, the left-handed pitcher from the University of Tennessee. That is who I would take if I'm the Washington Nationals. That's who I think they will take at this point in time. Number 2, Ethan Holiday, the shortstop coming out of high school, the son of Matt Holiday, the brother of Jackson Holiday. They have the opportunity to be the first 2 siblings drafted number 1 overall in the draft. So that would be kind of cool to see the Nationals end up with him. And they very much so could, because a lot of these things right here, it's a coin flip. Number 3, left-handed pitcher, Florida State, Jamie Arnold. Kind of a low ceiling, but also probably the safest pick in this draft. He's going to be a very good big leaguer. He'll be an all-star kind of pitcher, maybe for the next few years. So he'll be one to watch certainly also. Number 4, one of the fastest rising guys in this draft is left-handed pitcher, 20-year-old Cade Anderson. Good pitch mix here. Gets a lot of swings and misses, but overall, might be some concern with having Tommy John a few years ago. How good is that arm? Can he pitch every 5 days? I think that'll be some concerns with him moving forward. But my number 5 guy, second baseman, Iva Arquette, the second baseman from Oregon State. He is one of those guys where I am actually really intrigued with him. And if I were the GM, if I were Mike Rizzo, I would really look into this because similar to Jamie Arnold, Arquette's going to be a very good major league player. He kind of strikes me as a Jonathan India type right now, except the better rookie of the year version of that with the Cincinnati Reds. Like, this is a safe pick. This is someone who's going to put the ball in play. He should bat 290 in Major League Baseball. He should come with a little bit of power and really some gap-to-gap power here. Got really fast hands, and at 6'5", 220 pounds, being at shortstop, will he play third base? Will he be just a massive second baseman similar to DJ LeMahieu? Could he even eventually move over to first base? The opportunity is there for the Nationals. He's got a big arm, and I think the Nationals, if I were them, I would really look into this. Because you never draft for need. You never do. But also, people are whispering in that war room right now for the Nationals saying, we need to hit on someone and we need them to come up quick and help this ball club because before you know it, the window with CJ Abrams and James Wood and Mackenzie Gore, you're going to see tonight, we'll preview this shortly, that window is going to be closed. You never draft for need again. You take the best player available. But also in this case, for where the Nationals are, you luck box your way into the number 1 overall pick. If you cannot have a clear consensus number 1 guy, then this is kind of where you go. You're going to want to go with a safe, quick route to the majors. And I think Iva Arquette, I think Jamie Arnold, they both provide that. But also, if you want to take a big swing, Ethan Holiday and Liam Doyle. Those are your guys. Those probably have the highest ceilings in this draft. So you probably noticed I didn't mention some guys like high school pitchers. I don't think that's on the Nats' radar. But of course, you never know. Seaver King was not on my radar last year either for the Washington Nationals, and they ended up with him. So we'll see what the Nationals decide to do with the number 1 overall pick. But today, I have them taking Liam Doyle at the University of Tennessee. I just wanted to get that off my chest because, again, this is a big draft for the Nationals. We have not been able to talk about it. So over the next month, you'll have this episode to go back, check some notes, and really look into some of these guys because there are a lot of left-handed pitchers in this draft. The Nationals could select number 1 overall. And if it were up to me, they'd probably end up with Liam Doyle. But let's get into this series preview as the Nationals take on the Mets tonight with Mackenzie Gore on the bump facing a very good pitcher with Griffin Canning for the New York Mets. He has been one of those guys that has been just really good so far this season. When they signed him, I was just kind of like, okay, like that's kind of a weird signing for them. But 12 starts so far. He's got a sub-3 ERA, and he has been one of the better pitchers in the NL East. Now, he will walk a lot of guys this game tonight because that is something that he has done over the course of the season. 26 walks in just 59 innings pitched, and only having 57 strikeouts in those 59 innings pitched. But luckily for the Nationals, you've got your stud tonight, Mackenzie Gore. You always feel good with Mackenzie Gore on the bump. And really, this is a big game because the Nationals, their offense went quiet. Completely quiet after they were just breaking out on the West Coast with Seattle and Arizona. They come back home last week. You face the Chicago Cubs. You face the Texas Rangers, and you got beaten up a little bit. You're 2-4 in that homestand. Now you head up to Queens. This is the time for the Nationals to really break out and have some offense generated. And there would not be a better time to do it than with Mackenzie Gore on the bump tonight against one of your division rivals. So let's beat up on the New York Mets. This is something that we love to do. It's one of our favorite pastimes as Nationals fans. In years past, when the Nats were good, Citi Field was like a treat to go to because the Nets, they would beat the you-know-what out of those New York Mets up at Citi Field. And you see all those fans and everything that they do, they will go home crying. And Juan Soto, he'll always be a Washington National. Who said that? Who said that? He's not a Washington National anymore. It sucks, but still, you understand the point. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So if you haven't done so already, check out Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's on Apple or Spotify or even Apple Podcasts as well, just wherever you get your podcasts. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy the Mets-Nats series tonight. Mackenzie Gore on the bump. Should be a fun one.